Hello, 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 beautiful people out there. This is L.A.Roberts. I am the CEO of L.A.Roberts Speaks. I'm an international best-selling author as well as a breakthrough strategist. And today, I am starting the amazing interview series called Conversations with Greatness. And my first guest is Endiya Kinney-Sterns. You all listen, let me tell you something. I'm so excited to have her as be my first guest. I'm so excited that she even agreed to come out and spend her time with me all the way from California to spend time with me, little old me here in Atlanta, to discuss some amazing things about her. So let me first tell you who she is. She has over 20 years in the entertainment industry. She was named top female exec in Hollywood by Essence magazine. She is the former vice president of development and programming for the OWN network. Yes, y'all, Oprah Winfrey. She worked for BET and TV One. She is the co-creator of the popular show Unsung, as well as a million other shows that I'm sure you have seen. And she is the founder and CEO of EKS Consulting Firm and has launched All Things Media. Let me just tell you all, this is amazing. And I just want to go ahead and welcome her because I'm excited. Hey, Endiya.
Oh, hey, girl. I'm like, who is she talking about? Wait, and I want to clarify, you said top executive. I was one of the top. I think it was top 40 or something executive. So yeah, but that's still, it was great to be a part of that.
Yes, but to be even one of the top, like is amazing, right? So I'm
honored
for the top. So I don't know who else was on that list, but I'm just saying, me personally. So I met you in 2017. I think it was. I believe it was 2017.
16, yeah.
Yeah, and it was so funny because I was volunteering down at the Mega Fest, and I was offered the opportunity to serve, and I absolutely love just to do. And so I come in that morning and they said, we need you to go and get Endiya Kinney-Sterns. And I was like, okay, like, all right, I had absolutely no idea how wonderful and amazing you were, right? And I was like, okay, well, let me go and get her. So I go and get you, and we had this great conversation walking, and I'm tall, and you're shorter. I don't know if you remember this, but I was walking fast. You were like, honey, my husband is over 6 feet. I can keep up. And I was like, okay. So you were so cool. And I was taken back because unfortunately, I've been in situations where I've been around people that have all these amazing titles and they're not nice.
Yeah.
They're just not nice. And so I was blown away by just how personable you were. And then when, they brought you on stage, I'm standing on the side because I was like, she's so nice. And they introduced you and I was like, oh my God. Like, this is who I'm actually in the presence of. So I want you to know your first impression on me was an amazing woman that was so down to earth, and that, I would have never known that you had all these accolades because you didn't carry that on your shoulders. You know what I mean?
Wow. Well, LA, let me tell you, listen, we've stayed in touch since then, and that's a testament to your heart. I just fell in love with you. You were so sweet. You have such a servant's heart. You were just so kind and just so accommodating. And I just, I am the same way, and I connect with that, and I just loved you. And so I so appreciate you. I remember that time, and it's not normal to because I obviously I am so busy. I meet a lot of people. But when you connect with people who are genuine and sweet and are like spirit, you want to stay connected. So I'm really, really grateful that God chose to put us together. And I am so thankful and honored and grateful that you had that experience with me and you felt that way. That really blesses me because, I obviously have been in this industry for a long time. And I know what it's like to start from scratch, from the bottom, and work your way up. And I would see how people would treat other people. And it would just, I was like, that's the kind of boss I don't want to be. That's the kind of leader I don't want to be. And above all, because of my faith, my faith challenges me to treat others how I want to be treated, and commands me to love my neighbor as I love myself, and to do unto them as I am doing unto God, you know? And so with leading with that, I don't see any other way than to be, because it's not like I am so great that I gave myself these gifts and I'm so great that I opened these doors on my own. Like, I think the minute that you start to feel that way and start to really believe like you in control and that you created yourself and everything about you, it's a problem. And that's the space that I just don't ever want to be in. So thank you for that.
Oh, yay. I love your mom too.
Oh, listen, Miss Sue ain't no joke.
And it was so cute because I remember, you know, getting you back to your hotel room and we're walking and your mom called you by your nickname. She was so proud. And I was like, that was so super cute, because you know how like people think that they are so high and mighty, they can't be that way in front of people. And your mom was like, that's my baby, or Pookie or something. I don't remember what she called you, but it was so cute.
She'll call me like Indy, or I don't know. They don't tell him what she said.
It was super cute. It was super cute. So I remember that.
Thank you.
But okay, so I have some questions for you.
Yes.
And then we're going to, you know what? Let me ask you this first.
Okay.
Tell me what All Things Media is.
Oh, yeah. So EKS consulting firm is something that I started first because as I was transitioning out of just being a network executive and being more a consultant for various studios and production companies and networks, I started to develop a media company where all of my ideas and projects that I've either partnered with or developed with, including with my husband, as well as other notable producers and writers, we are building out a company called All Things Media, and all of those projects fall under that. So it's everything from digital to scripted to multi-platform productions, again, from scripted to non-scripted docs. We're all developing. I've got some projects set up at Lifetime, in the process of development at Lifetime, as well as development at potentially at NBC, and a few other places. So we're really excited, but we're just really a company that's all about partnering with the right people, developing projects that we believe in, that really foster a spirit of obviously entertainment. We do everything from comedy to drama and everything in between. But at the core of it, it makes you laugh, it makes you cry, but it makes you think. There's always some underlying intention of hope and restoration, of reconciliation, but also just fun and something that you can learn from and grow from it at the same time. Have fun. So that's sort of our motto and our through line, and we're excited about that venture.
I'm excited. It sounds like more positive programming, because there's so many things that are out here now, and I'm not a really big television person because it can be so negative and it's just a lot of stuff. You know,
a lot of stuff. I mean, here's the thing, like, I think there's a way to still be entertaining. You can still have a lot of drama, a lot of intrigue, a lot of twists and turns, but I think a lot of the times, a lot of these creators, they start with how dark can we go? How extremely, you know, edgy can we be? How shocking can we be? And I think there's a middle ground. You can still be shocking, you can still be entertaining, you can still be a little edgy, but the intention of it has to stay true. And if your intention is to inspire, encourage, uplift, or, you know, make people think in ways that they haven't really thought about, then when you come out of it, you don't feel so heavy, you don't feel so burdened, but you still feel like, wow, I was entertained. Wow, that was really interesting. Wow, I couldn't stop laughing, you know? There's a way to do that.
Yes, it is. And you are doing it now.
Well, I'm trying. We'll see.
Okay, so We talked about all the amazing, wonderful things that you have done professionally. But I always like to ask people who they are personally, because sometimes we can get so bogged down with the titles that we have in our professional life that we lose ourselves. There are plenty of people that I've asked this question to, well, who are you? And they go, well, I'm a consultant, or I'm a this or that, and they throw their titles, but I really need to know, like, who are you? You know what I mean? Because there's so much more to you than just your title. So I'm going to start with that. Who is Endiya Kinney-Sterns?
Well, first and foremost, and this is in order of importance,
Mm-hmm.
I am a child of God and believer in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I am a wife. Then I am a mother.
Uh-huh.
Then I am a daughter, and then I am a sister, and then I am a friend. And that is the order of importance to me. Like, and some of it sometimes levels out to, you know what I mean, depending on the need.
Right.
But that's who I am. And I think that all of that encompasses who God has created me to be. And I think that's the most important thing, because everything sort of stems from that. If you can't be the best version of yourself, not only for Christ, but for your family, then how are you going to be anything beyond that? It starts at home. So it pains me and frustrates me to see other women or men who are entrepreneurs or work at a business or whatever, and their first thing is their title, their first thing is their job, but they neglect the most important thing, which is their faith in their family. Like,
right.
that's where it starts. So if you got a child that's wilding out, or your marriage is a wreck, but you excelling at work, there's a problem. Because at the end of the day, you can even see it even now in our situation with COVID. Like, you put all your time and energy and everything into a job, and just like that, it could be gone.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how much money you made for the company. It doesn't matter what level you worked at, because I've been there. 2008, when the stock market crashed and it hit the entertainment industry in 2010, bye. Mm-hmm. I learned that the hard way. I learned that then. And so from that point on, I promised myself that I would reprioritize what was really important and really lined it up with what God said was important. And that has changed my life dramatically. So when all of this happened, my family life, it didn't shake it, because we were already solid, because I had already put them first. I put my husband first already. I put my faith first already. Before that, nightmare. Now, different.
Yeah. And to piggyback off what you said about COVID, what's crazy about it is, I believe that that's why a lot of people are struggling right now, because now they can't hide behind, I'm going to work. Yep. They're unable to hide behind a text message. They're unable to hide behind hey, I'll be home in 10 minutes, because now a lot of places are still sheltered in place. I live in Atlanta. No matter what the governor has said, I am still sheltered in place. Yeah. So I think that a lot of the problems that families are having, or husbands are having with wives, or wives are having with husbands, are the fact that they didn't have real communication.
Yeah.
And because it was a lack of communication, now you're in each other's face. Now you don't know what to say, because there was no communication in the first place. You were able to hide behind things.
Yeah.
So I've called COVID-19 actually a beautiful disaster, because it is terrible. It is terrible. I would have never thought in a million years that this would have happened.
Right.
But it is bringing families together if they let it. It's shifting a lot of things. I see God moving in a million different ways, if only people can open up their eyes and see it.
No, it's true. And I've seen it too. Like, we have some friends who were struggling a little bit, and talking them through it, and having them communicate, even with their kids, that they really hadn't done in forever, because they didn't have to. Right. They weren't forced to, but they should have been. For people who are taking this challenge on and really diving in, heart first, they're seeing huge differences in their family dynamic. Those who are trying to stay with the way it was before are really having problems. But I think when you embrace it and you really, really lean into the holes of your boat, where it's sinking, and you sort of fill them up with, okay, we've got time, I see where it is, let me really lean in and do something different. It's changing the way people are parenting. It's changing the way people are communicating,
Yes.
loving each other. I mean, those who are really, really leaning into it, it's beautiful. It's really
Right.
beautiful to see.
Right. I agree.
Mhm.
Okay, so what has been one of the greatest accomplishments in your life? This is a twofold question.
Okay,
And what kind of roadblocks did you run into on the way to this great accomplishment?
got it. Okay. See, it's such a loaded question, right? Because
Okay. Well, just one,
I
because you
can
have.
out here could say I can consider staying true to my beliefs
Mhm.
and integrity of who I am and being in this business is an accomplishment.
It is.
There's so many times I've been in rooms where, you know, I've been challenged with some of the content that I've had to, you know, that I was presented to have to produce or develop, or taking a certain way that I didn't really believe in and having to stand firm into, you know what, we could do that, but here's what's going to happen, or here are my concerns, here are the challenges. I don't think that's right, or really trying to advocate for people. That, you know, that was that was one of the greatest accomplishments I think in my career, because anyone that you could talk to that I've worked with, that's one thing I feel like they would be able to say, is that I'm not one to cower down or not be true to my beliefs and what I believe in. And I'm really grateful and thankful for that, to just be fearless in that way. But if you're looking at actual tangible things of shows that I'm really proud of, I would have to say it would be Unsung.
Unsung. Listen,
Yeah, I would
I
have to
love
say Unsung.
that show.
I,
Unsung.
it's a great story. It's funny because Unsung was a show that this guy Jeff Meyer, actually, he had the title and everything. He a Caucasian guy who
Okay.
actually knows more about African American history than anybody I've ever met. Let me be clear.
Okay.
He knows everything about music and everything. And so he, at the time, was head of scheduling and acquisitions for TV One. And
Okay.
I had just come on, and the illustrious, amazing Rose Catherine Pinckney was the EVP at the time. And she brought me on to sort of head up the LA office and to really bring in content and bring in producers and production companies that had not really heard of TV One. It was very new. And so she was like, we need to find a show that will help brand the network, that will help get the name out. And she's like, and I need you to help me do that. And so I came from the world of VH1. That's where my first development executive job came from. In 1999 was I was entry level, junior level executive there. And Behind the Music was still going strong. And all these prolific producers and network executives, you know, I was privy to. They were great resources for me, and I learned a lot. And learning from the network side, understanding that in order to brand a network, you need to be able to tell stories that other people aren't telling in a way that they aren't telling it, and really target the audience and give them what it is that they didn't even know that they needed. And so with that in mind, I was like, we really got to figure out a place where we can tell those stories, you know, because that's what I learned at VH1. And so, because Behind the Music absolutely branded VH1, right?
Right.
And, so Jeff was like, well, there's this idea, it's Unsung, and I'm really having a hard time trying to get them to lean in on it because they're worried about the cost, and we haven't really found the hook because we don't want it to be quite Behind the Music. What's the hook? And so we just sat down and we just beat it out. Like, okay, what are some of the stories? What are those stories like? How do we find the twist? How do we brand it out? Because not everybody, because people kind of go back and forth with Unsung. Like, it's not that they're unsung to the sense that you didn't know about them or they didn't have success. It's at what point could they have gone further if this hadn't happened?
Right.
And so that was the hook. That was the turn, right? So, and just, it was really brilliant. And so he was like, how are we going to get this made? And so I said, you know what? Let me call my friends over at A. Smith & Co. They had just done American Gangster for BET. And I worked with them on that. I was one of the executives over that. And I built a really great relationship with them, called and pretty much begged them. I said, can you do proof of concept, 4 shows, just 4 shows, You're not going to get all your, like, it's not going to be, it's going to be cheap. We don't have a lot of money.
Okay.
But I promise you, if we do this thing right, it will pay off for you. And because of our relationship and because, you know, I knew they already had the infrastructure, so it wouldn't be too much for them to take a risk on me. And that's how Unsung happened. Kid you not.
Oh, my goodness.
That's how it happened. And so after those 4 episodes, it was off to the races. Now what, 6 or 7 NAACP Image Awards later, over, I don't know how many episodes, a spinoff, 11, I don't know how many years it's been on, but it's insane.
Oh my God.
Oh, right. That's the story of Unsung.
That is so awesome. And I like it. I like the fact that you pointed out that you called and was like, please, let's just try this. Because a lot of people don't want to just call and say, hey, please, just give it a chance. If it doesn't work out, let's just start with this. And then if it doesn't work out, but your vision was so much bigger than what they could conceptualize at the time. So you had to start them out with 4. You couldn't say, hey, let's do 11 years.
Right. No, I was like, let's just see. And Frank Stanton, that is my, listen, he's one of the senior level executives at A. Smith, one of the partners at A. Smith, and he is brilliant. And I just always have to give my hat off to him for taking that chance. But you know what? I think it's a testament to relationships, right? Like, because if you aren't in a situation where no matter what business you're in, it's about relationships. People want to partner with people that they trust, that they enjoy working with, that they believe in. And that, I think that's a perfect example of what that is. Because had we worked on something a la American Gangster and I was a mess or he was a mess or, you know, or I didn't trust how he operated, he didn't trust, that conversation would have never happened. So I'm just really grateful for that, in that relationship.
And I think that a lot of the times people don't realize that you never know when you have to cross that bridge again.
That's it. Yep.
So don't burn it, you know, like
burn it.
Really present yourself and just be who you are. You know, just like I mentioned earlier, I would have never, in a million years would have thought that I would be interviewing you now, just from being just who I naturally, you know, am. Like, I didn't go up like, oh my God, I have to, you know, I was like, hi, you know, what do you need? Do you need something? So, and it's just amazing because the relationship built, and now I have the opportunity to be here with you today.
Yes, and listen, I already knew you were a force, so I was like, I need to keep up with her. She is so talented and gifted, and that's the other thing too. Like, you know what? I started off as an assistant, right, and a PA. I worked both sides, and so I know the importance of what it's like to have people who, you know, don't respect those positions, don't understand the power that those positions hold. Because you're, you know, today's assistant is tomorrow's president of a network. You know what I mean? And so the fact that people don't respect people just because they're people and they're doing a job boggles my mind.
Yeah.
It boggles my mind. And so you know, for me, it was just as much of it as an honor to be working with you as, you know, you working with me at MegaFest. I was grateful. I thought you were amazing.
Lord, you're gonna make me crush. Let me get it together now. You're compromising my thug, Endiya. Somebody forgot.
Girl, right. I'm like, you know how it is, COVID land. I got dogs. I got kids coming in and out.
Right.
He's like trying to tiptoe. I'm like, you know, they hear you, right? What are you doing?
Right.
I specifically said I'm in an interview. I'm recording, and they rallying up the dog for some reason. I don't know.
Listen, I had to quiet my household too, and I keep looking like.
like, get it together, please. Calm the dog down. It's crazy.
He's barking?
Yes. Yes, you're talking to me in the middle of the interview, babe.
Oh,
We're recording. Please close the door. Oh.
And this, folks, is what happens when you are on lockdown in the house with your family.
Correct.
So let me ask you this. What was the hardest crowd you ever had to face?
You know what's crazy? It's funny that you say that because I was just having this conversation with my husband the other day. I love speaking and being in front of people. I do. But there is one time in my life, one time I could think about where I was like, okay, this is interesting. At OWN, there was the moment where the senior level executives had to, take all the pitches that they were interested in and really thought would be great for the network and pitch them to the head of the CEO of Discovery, David Zasloff.
Okay.
And the head of Oprah Winfrey Network, Oprah Winfrey. So I had to go in this room.
Right.
And present these projects, and you got to really know your stuff. You got to know the projects. You got to be passionate about it. You got to, be able to answer the questions. And so for me in that moment, it wasn't so much fear as it was nervousness, right? Because, I feel fear comes on from feeling that you're unprepared, insecurities about what you think they're going to think. Yeah. And in that moment, it was more about, okay, I'm a little nervous because I want to do my best. Let me go in there and just push past the nerves, and just be me, because I had fully prepared. So I knew that I would be okay. But that was the moment I was like, ooh, it's gonna be interesting. This is gonna be interesting. So yeah.
You walked in praying, Lord,
yes, Lord, help me, please.
I need you now.
And there was, there was another time when and I'm gonna do this real short. There was a show that had been greenlit as a pilot that I was not in line with. I did not approve, and I had thought that I had squashed it before it made it up to Miss Winfrey. And some overzealous person on my team decided to push that on up.
Okay.
Whilst I was on vacation. And so when I came back and saw that it was on the docket, I sort of lost my mind a little bit and was a little upset, and still did not feel like it should have been on the docket, nor did I feel like it was the right thing for the network. That's my job. Mm-hmm. So I had a Jerry Maguire moment, girl, and that week I wrote an email.
Okay.
Right, I don't feel like this is gonna work, and here's the problem, and just going in.
Okay.
In it off. And somehow it made it to Miss Winfrey. That was not the plan.
So it skipped everybody in between and hit Oprah.
Well, no, I hit it to my direct report, who then hit it to that person, who then got it to her.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that was sent on Friday, and Sunday evening, I got an email that Miss Winfrey requests your presence to discuss said project. I was like, oh Lord help me. So yeah, going in Monday morning was a little like, you know what, Lord, I felt like I did what I was supposed to do, and you just gonna have to take the reins. Because
right.
I don't know I wasn't expecting this. I just thought I was sharing it with my, my EVP, who we can have a dialogue, you know what I mean?
Right.
But she was so, like, no, your voice needs to be heard. And I think, again, the best leaders set you up for success. They just do. And what seemed to be something I was like, that is not what I asked for. It was exactly what was needed, because she felt like I was so strong in my opinion about it. It needed to be heard. And I think it's also a testament to Miss Winfrey, because she didn't have to take out her time to talk to me about it. You know what I mean? She didn't that wasn't anything that she needed to do, but I think that's a testament to who she is. The fact that she was like, no, somebody has this sort of strong conviction about it. I need to hear about it. And so she was fantastic. She was amazing. She heard, she gave us our thoughts about why she felt the need to do it and why she wanted to move forward, and heard our concerns. And so, it was one of those moments I was like, okay, yes, like I can get down with her. Like she's a great leader. She truly is a great leader in that way. She really was.
That's great, because some people just shut it down and don't want to hear
Yeah.
Any other opinions about it. But the fact that she took the time to hear you out does say a lot about her, because,
and
she really
got a
could have
million and one things to be worried about than what I'm trying to talk about.
Right. She really could have done.
We doing it, so it is what it is. Keep it moving.
Yeah.
No. Right.
Yeah. No, just tell her it's okay. I'm glad she got it out. But
correct.
We're gonna do this.
No, she truly. I mean, that did a lot for me that day for her. About her, it was great.
Yay! So, okay, so you already really answered my fear question, because you turned all of that into fuel with that Jerry Maguire moment that you had. So,
well, and I want to encourage people about fear, because I think it's important to really understand the power of fear and how you can fuel it, as opposed to use it to fuel something else. Whenever I've noticed fear creep up, it's usually based off of some lie that I've hooked onto about some insecurity that happened before, fear of failure, fear that I'm going to look a certain way, or I'm not ready, or, and so whenever that creeps up, I use it as an indicator. I don't use it as a green light to go, meaning I see the fear, I don't feed it. There's been a time where I have, and I noticed it's really fears that paralyze you to keep you from moving forward. So I use it as an indicator to say, okay, where is it coming from? How do I squash it? If it's something where it just immediately comes up and I've got to move, then I look at the goal. And whatever that goal is, I push past it to reach my goal. And that's courage. Courage is doing it afraid. Courage is saying, you know what? The goal is more important than my feeling right now.
Right.
No matter what happens, I'm going for the goal. And so putting that in practice in my life and in my career and in my marriage and my relationship is done amazingly. I mean, it's just been done wonders for me and my growth. And really seeing, okay, because of course my faith tells me, fear is the absence of faith. So somewhere along the lines, I have replaced my faith in God with something else. Like either God has said, this is something you need to do, I got you, or he hasn't. And usually fear is an indication that the enemy is trying to tell me, you can't do this, or you don't have the right stuff, in which case I'm like, then I probably do.
Right.
And I'm going to push forward because I know there's something greater on the other side. And if not, I'm going to learn from it and grow from it. So fear is never going to be something that I'm going to allow to keep me from doing something.
Right.
It's an indicator to show me something about myself in the moment.
And anytime the enemy fights you so hard, it's because he's scared that whatever this is,
absolutely,
going to work out.
Yep.
So, I always ask myself that question, like, what is making me right now flip out? Okay, it must mean that I really need to do this.
Yeah.
So, doing that self-work, sitting down with it and going, why am I afraid? In the mirror, what's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you afraid?
Just the indicator. Yep.
What are you thinking?
Yep.
Where did it come from? And it's so funny because I always tell people, no, talk to yourself. Right? Like, talk to yourself. You need to figure out.
Get it out.
What's
walk
going
that thing through, honey.
Right, because the only expert on how you feel is you.
It's true.
So,
and how do you feel? And that's the thing, like, we live in a culture where we are just driven by our feelings, which is the complete opposite of what you need to be doing. Because your feelings, they lie. They lie.
Yeah.
Listen. When I eat a big old bowl of chocolate chip ice cream, my feelings tell me I am good. Life is good. Birds chirping. Midnight, that ice cream is just, yes. It feels so good. Then the fruit of that, I get on the scale. I'm like, where does 5 pounds come from? This is crazy. You know what I mean? I got an attitude. Now I got an attitude.
Right,
now my attitude is coming out when people are saying certain things. Meanwhile, I'm not attributing it to No, it was that ice cream you ate the other day, and then you got on the scale. Now you got an attitude. Now everybody got an attitude because you got, you know what I mean? And then it turns into something else. Our feelings are just indicators. They are not green lights to go. You need to stop and take an assessment and stop playing games, because this whole situation is ridiculous. Like, it's messed up. Like, you know, yes, you may be feeling something and you have to definitely take a beat and say, all right, why am I feeling this? What is going on? And then you make the conscious decision to act based on not your feeling, but what is the outcome that you want. It's the same in a relationship. If my husband says something to me and I get an attitude, it does something. It triggers me the wrong way. Old Endiya would have just been like, and I come out of my feelings, right? But now, knowing who God has called me to be and to exercise self-control, act in love and in patience, I stop. And I say, okay, is he saying that to really hurt my feelings? Or am I filtering that through some old mess that happened to me when I was a kid and somebody, you know what I mean? And I know that takes a minute and maturity to get there, but it's true. Our filters are off. That's why you can't operate from your feelings, because your filters are off. You know, he may be saying one thing, I hear something else, I respond based on that. He looking at me like, you crazy. I don't even know what you're talking about. All I said was, is it cool if I do blah, blah, blah? I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? How many times has that happened? So many times. Yes. And so, again, your feelings are just indicators. They are not green lights to go. You got to stop and really take notice of your why and what's going on. What state of mind are you in? What are you filtering it through? You got to be clear about it, because if you're not, you will be in a constant state of turmoil and lack of peace when you don't do that. And so, you know, when you're in the COVID situation and there is a little bit of anxiety about your surroundings and what's going to happen, you got to take notice of that, but then not act in it. Don't give into it. Don't fuel it. Pull back and say, okay, I don't have control over X, but I do have control over how I think. I do have control over how I pray, I meditate, how I hope for the best, how I believe in God who's got me, who I get to choose what I meditate on. I don't meditate on the things I can't change. I meditate on the things I can change, which is how I look at things, how I respond to things, how I'm grateful for what I have, how I think, you know. But if you give into that thing, you'll become that thing.
Yes, but having the courage to acknowledge. Yeah. I think a lot of people run from it in this particular time that we have in a place of isolation where you can't get to your family, where you have to be in the house. This is the time for people to really get to know themselves. Yep. You know, this is a time to really dig into those issues that you have been running away from for so long. You know, it's time out to stop pretending that something is not wrong, or maybe just be. You know, I think that in this fast-paced society, we're always trying to prove something.
That's me, though. If I'm being honest, LA, like, that's the one thing that this whole situation has taught me, is that I'm very much someone who has to be doing something. And God has definitely slowed me down. And, you know, that scripture, you know, give us this day our daily bread. I really am concentrating and leaning into that. Like, Lord, just tell me what you want me to do for the day. Because I'm always thinking a week ahead, 2 weeks ahead. I'm trying to do things that don't even need to really be done right now. And I find myself running in circles and doing too much. Yeah. And that's not even something that God is even like, you don't even need to be worried about that, because that's going to change and that's going to change. You know what I mean?
This is going to change. Hold on.
Right. But you don't know that. I know that. But if you leak into me in the morning and let set up your day, then maybe things will change. And so with this new time and structure, different way of being able to structure my life, it has changed so much. Like waking up in the morning and praying and really saying, Lord, what do you need me for today? Where does my focus need to be? And stuff just start to roll into place has been amazing. It's a
beautiful experience. But people to tap into that, though. Like, you know, instead of doing all of the complaining about why we can't go out making all of these complaints about the time that you have to stay in the house. Take this time to spend with God, because he's speaking, and you'll miss it if you don't be still.
Right.
You know, and I believe that is why he is stilling everybody. Sit down. I have something to say.
Absolutely. You're doing too much. Your focus is on the wrong thing. You're too distracted, and you're putting all of your energy and your faith in the things that will go away. You need to start looking into what won't, and that's me.
Yes.
And I am eternally grateful for that. Eternally grateful.
It's absolutely amazing time. I pray that other people grasp that concept of not the complaint of it all, but the beauty of it. And not to negate that people are sick right now, not to negate that people are losing their lives, and whole families are passing away from this unfortunate situation right now. I personally have a friend of mine that passed a few weeks ago from it. And I know a lot of people that are
so sorry
with it. Thank you so much. I will make sure I tell his wife that you send your condolences. She's
absolutely. Absolutely. I have a friend who's fighting for her life right now. Her and her husband were admitted after he just lost his sister, who was basically who raised him as, you know, his mom passed away from it. He got it, his wife got it, and his wife is fighting for his life. He finally recovered. I mean, it's a lot, and walking alongside family members who have it. It's, my friend lost her mom. You know, it's no joke. It's no joke. But but within it, to your point, pressing in on the things that you have control over.
Yeah.
And releasing the things that you don't is the key, because anxiety comes when you're trying to be God in a situation that you can't be. That's really what anxiety is.
Yeah.
I can't control it. I'm freaking out because I can't control it. I don't know how it's going to end. Well, guess what? You never did. That's what life is.
Right.
You don't have control. So the best thing you can do is just pray and know that God has you, and then just be vigilant about the things you can control, what you think, how you engage, how you respond, how you love, how you forgive, how you use your gifts, you know, using your talents, being creative, being open, you know.
And operating in wisdom.
Well, then there's that.
There's a lot of lack around here as far as wisdom is concerned, because we have to do better. We just really have to do better with making decisions, not just based on our own selfish motives, because we are in this together. You know, you are not, or you're not an island unto yourself. You cannot go out and think that, oh, it's just me. It's important that people understand that we're all in this together. This is a global pandemic, like not, a Texas, Illinois, California pandemic that happens to stop at the border. This is in almost every country in the entire world. How could you not care about your fellow, your fellow brother or sister? You may not have ever met them, but
panic. You know, it's panic. It's fear. You know, when you're fearful, you do things that out of desperation. You know, people are like, I just got to get my business up. You know, it's not that bad. You know, I just gotta. You know, it's fear. You know, and I get it. I get that people are stressed out. I get that they just want to get things back to the way that they were. And not using wisdom, because it's hard to think clearly when you're operating out of fear, you know. And so, you know, and I think that's the key when we go back to fear. Like, it's not a green light, you know. You just got to check that. You got to have self-control, and like you said, wisdom. But for those who aren't there yet, we have to exercise love and patience to embrace and just cover them and pray for them, because it's a really hard thing on all sides. Like my heart goes out to people who don't have faith, you know. That's really scary when you have put everything, your God is your money, your God is your title, your God is your job.
Ooh,
You know,
honey.
your God is, the things that you have. And so when you start to see your idols fall and everything you put all of your hope and your dreams into be gone,
Right.
your peace of mind is gone. Your mental faculties are gone. Your whole world is shaken because you built it on sand. And so my heart goes out. I pray, I cover, because I know God always has a way of escape. He's always got a safety net somewhere, just waiting for those people to reach out and say, I need help. And we as believers have to be there to offer it, So I see this as a great opportunity as a believer to be that for people. And so I just encourage people that whenever they see that, to know, have some patience, have some insight into the situation. Regardless of what people are doing, you have to know where it's coming from and be able to work from that.
Yeah, the perspectives has to change.
There it is.
And I won't sit here and tell you that I struggle with that, because when I think about people losing their lives, and it affects me. This affected me when it was in Asia alone.
I know, and how how that was even treated and how they treated those. I was just like, oh my goodness, like
right.
Horrible.
It affected me then. And then it affected me when it moved to, what was it, Italy? And then so I've been affected by this since it hit, the media. So to know that it's so close and it's in my backyard, and to hear people not care because they haven't been affected, that hurts my heart, because I'm like, how could you not be affected by this? It doesn't have to be your mom or your sister or even somebody you know. I get on social media and hear, I just lost this person, I just lost this person, and I weep. Like I cry because it bothers my heart so bad. And so I struggle with the fact that there are people that just, they don't care. So that's something that I pray about. Like,
no, and I think that's very valid and it's very real. And I have my feelings too, like sometimes when you're looking at politics, that's why I gotta turn off the news sometimes, because I start to get into my feelings. When I see certain posts or people saying different things, or even people of faith, I'm like, what are you talking about? But I have to, and again, what you're hearing is me doing the stop.
The walkthrough. Right.
It's the walkthrough. By no means am I trying to sit up here and say I got it all figured out and I'm just coasted. It's born out of the struggle, the mental struggle, and and the emotional struggle of everything. Even down to, like even when I'm checking in on my friend who I can never see, who's going through all of these things, who is, fighting for her life day to day, fighting for her life with this thing. And I might get a nurse who's super sweet and is, making it happen and being nice. And then you get a nurse who is talking to you crazy and you're like, wait, I can't be there. So I got to ask questions and I got, you know what I mean? Just going in. And then I have to then take back and go, but I don't know how many deaths she saw.
Right.
I don't know,
how hard she's
what
got.
her stress level is. Yeah. So it's a second by second, minute by minute check. Right. Okay, I'm feeling some type of way. This don't feel good. Let me just take a minute because I'm about to lose my witness right now, Lord. So let me just love my neighbors. I love myself because I need your help. I need your help, Lord. I need your help.
I know that feeling.
So no, I get it on every level. I get it.
I think the transparency of those moments, there unfortunately are people that are not willing to be honest about how they feel because they have this persona, right? They want to appear to always be positive, appear to always be on top of things, and they're breaking down behind closed doors, and you are losing your, they pulling out their hair and they doing all types of stuff and putting on wigs just to cover up the bald spots.
It's true.
Because they are literally losing their minds. And I think the more we become open and transparent about how we really feel, and then you are really tapping into the human experience, because everybody has the same feelings. Absolutely. Except for they express them in different ways. So yeah, just being able to tap into that.
Yeah, and I think it's crazy to think that, no one's going through anything, and it's the most ridiculous thing ever. I mean, you got to know you're not alone, and I think that's the number one thing. People are so busy, to your point, trying to look a certain way, but because they're not being honest, it makes people feel like, well, and what I'm feeling, is it normal? Like, am I not supposed to be like, oh, I must be weak, you know what I mean? Or I must not. No, everyone has feelings. It's how you respond. And how you respond is a direct correlation of your maturity, of where you are, of what you're feeding your spirit, of how you're trying to live your life, of what your intentions are spiritually. Like, all of that plays into it,
Right.
But no, everyone has moments. And if they're trying to pretend like that they don't, that's ridiculous. That's why we need God. Otherwise, what's the point? I need God. I need Jesus. And the reason why I need him is because I'm crazy. It's because I want to do what I want to do. And I naturally want to act out of my feelings, and I want to make reasons for why it's okay for me to do it. And God is like, it's not okay. And this is why I'm here, so I can help you.
Yes, me too. And that's virtually my support meetings. I eat church every Sunday with with other believers, via my computer or my iPad, because like you said, I need them.
Yep.
Because I would lose all of my mind if I did not have, listen, I'm so serious.
I get it.
Like, what happened in LA, and why is she running down the street?
Not down the street.
Listen,
not running down the street.
With a Ziploc bag on top of her head.
Not a Ziploc bag. No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I need my Jesus. I really do. So let me ask you this question. This is, and you know what? I love this, because even the questions that I have set up, it just organically flowed, and I absolutely love it, right? So that's the best way to do things. So, do you feel like you're walking in your purpose?
You know what? I love that question, because I have to say, yes, absolutely. And for me, I think for everybody, ultimately, your purpose is this. And it's something my mom told me when I was little. She said, your purpose in life is to use all your gifts to glorify God and bless others.
Yes, I love it.
So, that really sort of leveled the playing field for me, because then it put my attention on pleasing God and wanting him to be proud of me. And so my level of excellence and what I did was always forefront. And I wanted to learn everything he put inside of me so that I can use everything. It wasn't until I really found crazy success and money was crazy, and accolades and awards and write-ups, that I start to lose that a little bit, because then my attention became more about me and keeping up with that and what people thought. And, oh my God, I can't fail at this. I can't do that. Now that's what was in my heart. What I was saying was, oh, God is good, and it's all for you, Lord. But in my heart, it wasn't. It was about keeping up. And so I didn't realize that until it was all taken away. And when it was pretty much gone, like done, like around, like I said, 2010, it was gone. And I had to really reflect on, okay, God, what is this about? And I really had an attitude. I was very much like, I'm the good one. Like, I'm one of the good ones. Like, I was the one that was, being a voice and trying to be a light and be a woman of integrity and do the right thing. And I'm seeing all these other people, and they are winning, and they aren't near about trying to do the right thing. And they are And even some of them say they love you and they are clearly not doing the right thing. I'm like,
Right.
but you got me over here looking like Job. Well, I'm not, let me put this straight. It wasn't a Job moment. Let me not put that out there.
Okay.
In the moment, it felt like I lost my house, my cars, my, and having to downsize everything. And it was just a lot. And so in those moments, and actually praise God, what came from it was a book we could talk about later, but it was a 9-month process of me learning what adversity was really supposed to be in my life and what it is for everybody. And I sort of got off a tangent in answering this question, but I just want to let people to know is your purpose is not your title. Your purpose is not, what other people think of you. And success is not measured by that. Success is obedience to God and doing everything that he's put inside of you to the best of your ability to serve as many people as you can, because you can't take any of this crap with you.
No, you
The only
can't.
thing that you can take with you is your service and what you did for him. Because when you die and he asks you, did you do everything I asked you to do? That's all that's going to matter.
That's all that's going to matter.
When you think about even the people that have passed away, the Kobe Bryants, all of them, when he died, people didn't say, oh my God, did you see his house? Oh my God, did you know how much money he made? No one's talking about that. What are they talking about? Oh my God, he was a dad. He was a girl dad,
Right.
He was so wise. Oh my God, he made me want to have the Mamba mentality to do my best, to be excellent in everything.
Right.
That's what people are talking about. His character.
Right.
Who he was. And so we put so much energy into things that don't matter in the long run.
Yes, we do.
And so with that, my purpose is to use my gifts to glorify God and bless others. And so when I came out of that and really started to refocus that, my life changed. I ended up getting the job at Oprah Winfrey Network, and I was able to be there and really serve and learn. It just was a different mentality for me. And even now, leaving there and starting my own company, really because I wanted to be more available, to be able to work with various people. As an executive, you're sort of beholden to whatever company you are, working for. Just it's a corporate job. So you sort of belong to that corporation. But when you work for yourself, you're able to be a little bit more fluid and a little bit more flexible. And I felt that's where God wanted me to be, so that I could, speak more, do more conferences, really, really engage and inspire people on various levels and be more available. And it's definitely been a sacrifice financially, but as we all know, God provides, and I have so much peace, and I love the freedom that I have to be able to do more of what he's called me to do. And at the end of the day, all I want to hear is well done. To me, that means way more than having more, zeros, my name, or bigger titles next to my name, or, so comfort, so to speak, with, the 401ks or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that no matter where you are, like I said, my whole life, when I was at OWN, when I was at TV One, when I was at BET, when I was a freelance producer, in between those times, I truly was just trying to use my gifts in every way to be a light everywhere that I was. And it just so happens that now it's just in a different season, in a different space. But truly, I am working out my purpose because I know that I'm in the will of God.
And that is absolutely amazing. I think a lot of people need to hear that, because they attribute success to the titles or how big the check is, and, oh, I've arrived because now I have a company car or something like that. But I agree with you by saying about your peace. I want my peace.
Man.
If I don't have my peace, then all of this money is not going to mean anything, because I cannot enjoy it because I'm always chasing the next big thing.
Yep.
I'm losing time with family. I'm losing time with, with myself. I'm losing time, most importantly, with God. Very valuable time that is gifted to you, so I think that a lot of the times people have the wrong idea of success because that's what they were taught. Get the 6-figure job, get the big title and everything will be good. But they never teach you to nurture the relationship. They never teach you to nurture yourself, that self-care. They never teach you, no, your purpose is not to, make a whole lot of money. Your purpose is to please God. And what I have found is that God has started to reveal to me even more things that I didn't even know I had.
That happens.
Yeah, when you get still and you go, okay, God, what do you want me to do? Yep. And things just start opening up. I prayed a prayer what's this year? It's 2020, 2019, 2018. I prayed a prayer and asked God, what type of mindset do I need to have? And the answer was a global mindset. And I was like, okay, God, how do I have that? And, I'm just in his presence. And he opened up the door for me to speak at the UN. And I was like, oh, that's what you were preparing me for. Oh my God, I'm mind blown, right? Like, oh my God, how did I get here? But I was willing to ask the question. I was willing to ask him what he wanted me to do. I was willing to take that time and to get with him so that he can open up doors for me that nothing that I do compares to what God does. So when people ask me stuff like, oh, well, how did you do that? It was a God opportunity. It was a God.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy when you just stay still and you're present and you're like, Lord, what do you want me to do? And that's the thing, like everyone's like, well, how do I have a dream to do this. I want to do that. And I think it comes down to this. What's your motive? What's your intention? Like if your motive is, I want to get money. I really want to be famous. I want to do it because somebody else did it. I want people back home to know that I made it and I made something of myself. Then be honest with yourself and know that, and just know that whatever comes with that will come. Right. If that is your intention, then please know that you're going to have to compromise in certain ways, that it's going to cost you something. Everything costs you something, but whatever's driving you has to be clear. And so when my career became what was the most important thing for me, and the intention changed from pleasing God to pleasing man, I was always tired. My priorities were completely off. It was never good enough. I never had enough. I never, being number one week and number two the next wasn't good enough. It was never enough. It was trying to fill a well that could never be filled. And
it's a hamster wheel.
Yeah. I even say it was like being on a treadmill and not losing weight. I'm sweating, but I'm going nowhere, and I'm not getting, I'm not getting no rest. It's not good. And so I say that to say you can absolutely make it. You can make as much money as you set out to. You can do all of that. But whatever's driving you is what's going to keep you. And if what's driving you is to worship the money and the fame that comes with it, it will destroy you.
Yes.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And you're going to be sacrificing something. But if I'm going to sacrifice, taking the longer way, and if I'm going to sacrifice, not being as popular in certain circles because of the fact that I stand firm in certain things, or I have integrity in certain ways, or I like to work a certain way, that's okay, because I have my peace and I know that all the other stuff will come.
Right.
And so, and at the end of the day, whatever I have, it's for him and how he wants to use it, or how he wants me to be of service with it. So none of it is mine anyway. Right. And there's freedom with that, because I don't have the pressure to perform. I just know, okay, he gave me a gift to do this. He's going to use it this way. And then whatever comes from that, he wants to do that, and I get to benefit from it, and everybody else gets to benefit from it. Right. So that's the joy and the peace in that. So I'm just trying to stay in that place, because I know what it means to not be in that place, and that's not fun.
Well, I'm going to stay in that place with you.
All right. That sounds good to me, girl. But it also gives me grace for people who don't, because I know what it's like. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, which is why I'm so like my heart gets so heavy and so full when I'm able to go to these different conferences and I'm able to give people tools and these women tools of how to balance and what that looks like, and how to rethink the things that they're thinking and reshape and renew their mind around what's real and what's not, you know, and tearing down all of the noise and all of the cultural things that have been placed on us, and really telling the truth. It is joy for me, and that's part of my service, you know.
It's freeing.
Yep.
It's freeing. Yay. So tell me about some upcoming projects. Tell me, you know, let's let everybody know what's next for you.
Well, listen, like I said, you know, I'm one of those people, I write down all of the things that I feel like God has blessed me to do, all my gifts, and I just start to do little lines of how I can use those.
Uh-huh.
And I just go for it, right? So I was approached to write a book based out of my 9-month experience with what I call a timeout with God. It's called Why Me? How to Stay in the Fight. And that should be coming out this fall. I'm very excited about.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I have a podcast called Nothing But the Truth. And it's centered around, you know, leaders, business leaders, celebrities, talking about, you know, the truth of the matter to how they got where they were. Like, not the fluff, not the, oh, I'm coming on to promote this, but no. What was your darkest moment? What was the hardest moment? What did you learn? What did you have to relearn from what you learned from when you were young to now? Like, really giving some real truth to their journey and their walk in a way that they've never been able to do that. So that's called Nothing But the Truth. And it's a
That
podcast.
sounds so good.
I'm really excited about that. That's going to be off the chain. So be on the lookout for that. And then, you know, just doing my projects. And obviously, I'm definitely open to more speaking engagements. I mean, obviously, things have completely shut down because of COVID, but I'm excited about being able to go to various conferences and really engage and inspire women and men alike, who are, you know, find themselves in different spaces in their lives, be it personal, professional, or whatever. That just brings me joy. So I'm definitely doing more of that. But that's it. That's what I'm doing. I'm excited.
You said that's it. Like, I'm just about to be a best-selling author, and I have a great podcast, and you know, the rest of the stuff.
Well, listen, these are all faith walks. We'll see what God says, but I'm just stepping out and, you know, if it blesses one, if it blesses a million across the board, I'm good. Listen, I just want to hear well done. I don't ever want them to hear, well, remember when I gave you that idea? I don't want to hear that.
Right.
You know, you listen, I'm going to do it, and then it's up to him and what he does with it. So I'm excited.
I pray many blessings on everything.
L.A. You too, girl. You're the best-selling international author, speaker at the UN. And listen, I'm just trying to be in your world. I'm trying to be like you when I grow up. That's what
listen, God doors. God doors. I'm just a little girl from the south side of Chicago. Really, like, that was raised by my papa, and my grandparents, of course, my mom, but my papa instilled in me just this amazing work ethic, and he would call me queen. So it didn't matter how I was feeling or what I was doing, he would call me queen. If I wanted to run for president, my papa would just be like, oh, okay, so what you need me to do? Like, he always instilled that in me. So my aim and my goal has always been to continue to make him proud, and to carry his legacy, and to make sure everyone around the world knows the name Leon F. Howard Sr. Because he is my, you know, like, that's my inspiration.
I love that.
So I know that he's bragging to the angels about me. I can just hear it.
Okay, it's a wrap. It's
right. So
no, I feel the same way about my mom. You know, my dad died when I was really young. It was just me and her for a while until she married my stepdad, who is my dad, who I love to life.
Yeah.
Who was just an amazing support for me. but yeah, it was just me and her for a while, and it was her who just taught me, like, listen, you can do anything, but what you not gonna do is not know the Lord and know and
Right.
know the importance of that relationship, because just to watch her go through the things that she went through as a single mom, and trying to see my dreams realized and what she sacrificed, and how she taught me to lean into my faith with God. And I just saw how he just worked things out because of her faith. It was crazy.
Mhm.
Single mom, 20, lost my dad when she was in her 20s,
Wow.
um, and started her own business, and just again out of service. Like I saw it. I saw it in real time, in real life, and I'm still seeing the fruit of that, so all of
Yes.
that matters. And that's what breaks my heart even now, when I see parents not taking that role so seriously, and them being so much about themselves, not realizing that, no, you are imparting for the next generation. If you're not preparing them, what are you doing? You know what I mean? When you see all of these African American kids suicide rate up 200%, you know why it's 200%? Because 10 years ago, Black kids weren't killing themselves. They just weren't. It wasn't even an option. Wouldn't even think anything they were even thinking about.
Right.
Now you start introducing things like living in your feelings, and living in, that's not how we naturally operated. You know what I mean? I do
Right.
think that there's some unhealthy ways that we may have processed the feelings, but to just live in them is insane. You don't do
Yeah.
that. You don't do
Right.
that. And so we've come from a long legacy of African American men and women who didn't live in their feelings. They took their feelings, they used it as fuel, and they were like, I'm not living here. I'm not living in this space. I'm not believing what you say I am. I'm going to
Right.
work hard, and I'm going to rise above it. What are we missing right now? Why are we not teaching our kids to do that? Why are we trying to make everything easy for them? Why are we trying to get them to live in a world, in a bubble, where you're not supposed to have bad feelings, and you're not supposed to experience hurt or pain? You have to. Without it, you can't grow and mature and
Right.
know what you're made of. Like,
Right.
it's going to happen. But it boggles my mind that this new generation of parenting has completely thrown everything out of the window, and just was like, we're just gonna revamp the script and do
Right.
everything opposite our parents did, because we turned out bad. It's nuts to me. I am like, we didn't turn out bad. We actually got it really, really good.
Right.
Why are you trying to change it? Like, what are you doing? I've never heard anything like it.
It's the mentality.
I'm so confused. Kids cursing at their parents, parents cursing at their kids, and I'm so confused. The lack of respect, the lack of discipline, the lack of just boundaries, the lack
Right.
of I am you could tell I am very passionate about this, because it just
Yes.
boggles my mind. It
I'm with
boggles
you.
my mind.
I'm with you. And it's because, I mean, I don't have children yet. But one day the Lord will bless me.
Amen.
And I see children at the store, and it takes everything in me. I really have to, like, whoo, because, but I am not your mom. But
no, yeah, I feel bad. I really feel bad, because it's the parents. It makes me sad. Like, literally, especially, and I hate to say it, like, Black parents are really leaning into this whole new way of parenting, and we're paying the price for it. You can see it. It's not, and what's crazy, it's not even anything I'm making up. Like, I don't even have to look at a book or look at statistics. We see it.
Yeah.
We see the fruit of it.
It's very evident.
It's very evident. So,
well, I'm glad we were blessed with
amen and amen.
Role models that have gotten us to the point that we are now. And the only thing that we can do is pray and pray and pray. That's the only thing that we can do at this time. So I want to thank you so much, because this was great. Like, I really enjoyed having you as being my first guest on my Conversations with Greatness. I am honored to be able to have you as a guest and call you friend. and we will definitely have to talk again.
I love it. I'm honored to be just a part of it, let alone first. So I am so grateful and honored, and I adore you. I'm so proud of you. I'm praying for you. I encourage you. I'm lifting you up, girl. I am so excited about what God is doing in your life and all of the many doors he's going to continue to open for you. And if there's any way that I can be of service and help you, just let me know.
I sure will.
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening, child. And thank you for having me. Love you, Mama.
Love you too.